Hello, and welcome to the final board report from Golden Heart Computers. Our final board report was conducted on Tuesday, December 5th. The people present were President VP of Human Resources, Chastity McCarthy, VP of Marketing and VP of Manufacturing, Laura McGreedy, VP of Sales Management, Nick Hines, and VP of Accounting and Finance, Tina Persinger. In year two, the actions that were taken started small, ended big. We had a modified brand. We created Speffy to meet the workhorse market and targeted advertising towards them once we realized that the traveler segment wasn't really working for us and that we needed to refocus our attention somewhere where we were already gaining a little bit momentum. We purchased market research, so we were able to look at our competitors' advertising targets and product layouts and kind of mimic that to create something great. We expanded employee coverage and compensation to create more productivity among our staff. We opened the Paris sales office. We hired additional sales staff. We closed our web sales office and then later reopened our web sales office. We modified our Fanloo Now product to meet the Mercedes market better. It was kind of a deluxe version. We created a research and development product, which was networking high speed. We ended production of the Travel Pro and redirected our traveler demographic to temp at the workhorse by creating the Travel Chic product. And then we borrowed $4 million in common stock and more in a conventional loan. These actions taken led our company to reach a significant milestone, which generated more than $1 million in sales in quarter 5. Some of the events affecting company performance for us were new product development by competitors, competitors opening new markets. Our own product generation really kind of stalled out in different segments, and that affected our company performance. Closing our web sales office and then reopening our web sales office really affected our company performance. Business expansion into Shanghai, but then having to close Shanghai, and also business expansion into Paris. And the key wants of the market shifting have really affected company performance. Once we realized that Shanghai wasn't where we needed to be and that we should close that office and open up in Paris, we did well in Paris until other companies also started opening in Paris. Overall, the market appeal for our company performance did gain traction throughout the quarters progressively. Shifts in the market continued to make some changes. Poor performance in established markets made us reevaluate markets we had previously entered. Poor timing of entering markets also required us to shift markets. Golden Heart was able to make at least ends meet in the populated Chicago market. In order to achieve greater market control, sales staff will be better incentivized to increase sales and hopefully establish ourselves in new markets, so shifting will not be necessary in the future. More research and development will be done to shift into new untapped markets also in the future, and Golden Heart is optimistic with the large investment that they will be able to find new developments and create new products for their new markets. You'll see the different shifts that we took in year 2. Starting with quarter 3, we were only at 2% market share, and then by quarter 7, we had gained momentum to 4%. We did fall behind our competition in a couple of the markets we entered. The market we fell short compared to our business plan was web sales. The sales department fell short on determining the demand in the web sales area, so we were unable to really kind of gauge what we needed to do versus what we were doing. To correct this problem, we temporarily closed that web sales center and focused on that old adage, you have to spend money to make money. So we needed to invest in market research to increase our web sales overall, which is what we ended up doing. We decided to shift our market strategy after the web sales center failure in order to decrease our losses. We also decided that shifting was an opportunity to open a sales center in Paris to establish our own market before our competitors. So we were the first people there. We gained a little bit of traction with that market share, but then unfortunately we were late on the arrival into the market and had to compete with other companies as well as gain market share. So since we secured a generous investment into our company, while modifying our product to better suit those markets, The adaptations to our market strategy, along with those increasing incentives to the sales staff, will hopefully continue to allow Golden Heart Computers to grow and compete with the competitors. Our performance overall, I believe that we could have created more appealing ads and focused those better towards our targeted market, but unfortunately, our first few quarters, we were really unsure of who our target markets were and how invested we should be in each different demographic. We should have done that later by establishing a strong brand for a strong market. So starting in the beginning, we should have really focused on what are other people doing and then target a different market that's maybe less targeted and really start out with one super strong product rather than 3 meek products. Where could we have improved? We could have found the right market and then updated that brand each quarter, as well as added a new product each quarter. Instead of starting off with 3 brands that were really not best sellers, we should have really started with one strong brand and then implemented new products. Our company came out to have a significant profit loss, though our gross profit margin was 46.68. Our net profit margin was negative 64.78. Overall, our financial statement highlights that we had over $2 million in revenues, whereas the gross profit was only really $1.6 million. Our final market and competition, after 2 years, Golden Heart Computers has made up only 4% of the market share. Although a small percentage, that is a 100% increase in the market share from quarter 3. So Get It and Cloudcast started off strong through effective products, marketing, and labor force, and they really capitalized on their lead by developing new products, using web sales, and efficiently managing their inventory and overhead. Since Golden Heart Computers was so far behind our competition in the third quarter, it was an uphill battle to compete with those companies. If we were to keep moving forward with Golden Heart Computers, we're going to incentivize the sales staff to hopefully increase more sales, spend more time and money on research and development in order to determine demand in existing markets, as well as find opportunities to enter new increasing markets, invest in high-speed components that will be available in quarter 8, use new market research to better adapt our product to satisfy demand in the market increasing sales. And now that we have grown 28.3% in production employee productivity since quarter 3, we can more efficiently manage our manufacturing utilization and be able to decrease our overhead costs. And then also just continuing to learn from our competitors and adopt their practices. So now we move into our experiences. Chastity is the voiceover you're hearing. My personal experience is that I felt this simulation was a great experience overall. It allowed me to really use the knowledge I currently have in business development, expansion, and marketing while focusing it into a segment that I was unfamiliar with, which is computer manufacturing. At times I felt it was pretty hard to get engaged in the simulation because the product was really of no interest to me. I am curious if there are opportunities in other terms where you might use a different product rather than computer manufacturing. Overall, it really helped me to learn about manufacturing and productivity more than I had in previous courses. Those are 2 topics I was really unfamiliar with prior to this course. I didn't realize that the effect they had on a company as a whole was so significant and that the costs were so significant. Nick's experience was that it definitely had its struggles associated with the learning curve of how to operate a business on a large global scale and navigating through that marketplace software. He says that he learned a lot about the influences in sales of goods, especially in a competitive market. Even with the smallest mistakes like understanding market demand had a drastic influence on the performance of the company, and falling behind in the market makes trying to come back extremely difficult. All in all, Nick believed that this was a great learning experience and that everyone's goals to be their own boss and to be able to control a company with no financial consequences involved gives good insight to what really takes to be successful in the competitive and international global market. Every decision has to be made with the proper details throughout and considered, and it was really an eye-opening experience for Nick and gives you insight into how difficult those decisions might be for actual real-life companies. Nick says he would recommend the software to those looking to enter into the Fortune 500 companies or trying to start a business with an established market and lots of competitors. Tina stated that this simulation experience was much different than she had anticipated. Initially, she was frustrated with the simulation as a whole because it seemed overwhelming and not very user-friendly, but once she familiarized herself with the application, it did not feel that bad. Although she did feel as though she was guessing rather than making educated decisions. She also enjoyed observing human resources aspect of the business plan, as this experience would have been extremely overwhelming had it not been presented in a group format to brainstorm and figure it out together. And as for Laura, she believed that the simulation was very interesting as it gave a glimpse into the operations of the company. That being said, there was a learning curve on how to use the simulation in the first couple of quarters, which led to some of our performance and financial troubles. She does wish that there was a trial run to get familiar with the simulation, and there were times where she was guessing when it came to manufacturing decisions as she did not have any prior experience in this operation. It was helpful to have a group to bounce ideas off of and figure out what decisions should be made, but lastly, it was also eye-opening for her to see how important manufacturing efficiency is and how costly it can be when it underperforms. So thank you from our group, Golden Heart Computers. It was truly an enjoyable experience. Thank you.